Welcome back. In the previous lesson, we saw how responsibility expands inside a situation. What you did not create, you begin to maintain. What you did not control, you begin to manage. Now we move further, because once responsibility becomes personal, something else changes. Leaving no longer feels neutral. It begins to feel like something you failed to handle. And here is the question guiding this lesson. Why does leaving start to feel like your failure? At first, leaving is simple. If something does not work, you step away. But once you are involved in maintaining it, leaving carries a different meaning. It is no longer just an action. It becomes a statement, a reflection of what you could not fix, could not manage, or could not sustain. And that changes how it feels. The more effort you invest, the more connected you feel to the outcome. You think about what you did, what you tried, what you adjusted. And when effort is present, it creates a sense of ownership. So if the situation does not work, it feels linked to your effort, not just to the situation itself. Now look at the belief that forms. Instead of seeing the situation as something external, you begin to connect it to yourself. If it works, it reflects well on you. If it fails, it feels like something about you was not enough. The situation becomes personal. And once it becomes personal, leaving feels like losing something about yourself. Compare two perspectives. One person leaves and sees it as a decision. Another leaves and sees it as a failure. The situation may be identical. The difference is meaning. When responsibility becomes personal, the meaning of leaving changes, and with it, the emotional weight of the decision. Now we go further. If leaving feels like failure, staying begins to feel safer. Not because the situation improved, but because staying avoids the feeling of losing. It avoids the question of what could have been done differently. So the situation continues, not because it works, but because leaving feels worse. You see this across contexts. At work, people remain in roles they no longer question. In relationships, people stay even when something feels unresolved. In social settings, people maintain positions that no longer fit. In each case, the pattern is the same. Leaving becomes difficult. Not because of the situation, but because of what it represents. So return to the question. Why does leaving feel like your failure? Over the next few days, notice where staying feels easier than leaving. Not because it is better, but because leaving carries weight. Observe the meaning attached to the decision. Because once leaving feels personal, it is no longer just a choice. It becomes something you try to avoid. In the next lesson, we move into something even deeper. How people begin to protect the situation even when it no longer benefits them.